We are live now, doctor.
Test. So, a very warm evening to everybody. I'm Dr. Sunandini Bose, and I welcome you today for this webinar from YOSI and YOSI Career Portal team. So, YOSI Career Portal has been introduced in the year 2024, and our official partner for this webinar is Medica Bazaar. So, in the year 2014, YOSI was formed by Dr. Tarun Arora and Dr. Vijay Sharma, and this society is now 500 members strong. In the year 2022-24, the first, the job portal and so many other PWG groups were formed by then governing council. This is a current governing council with Dr. Debakant Mishra as the president, Dr. Sonal Kalia as past president, Dr. Karan Bhatia as vice president, Dr. Nilesh as our secretary, Dr. Aditya Sethi as treasurer, and Prasanna V. Ramesh as joint secretary. And this is led us with the 20 executive committee members who are working very hard for the PWG member groups. So, in the month of February 2025, we first introduced the UC Career Portal app where you can post a fellowship data, post a job data, you can shortlist candidate from it, and everything is together in the same place. And the consecutive month in March, we had our first webinar of Career Portal where we invited the AIS Governing Council and UC past President Dr. Digvijay Singh, and we had an eminent list of speakers from all the big eye hospitals where we talked all about, finding jobs and fellowships and how, one can find a good job or what exactly are needed for a, from a job portal perspective. Then in the last month, in the month of May, we had our second webinar where we focused only on the fellowship and we had eminent speakers from LVPI, SNC Chitrakoot, Shroff Eye Hospital and MM Joshi Eye Hospital. It was graced by Dr. Mohan Rajan sir. And today we welcome you to the third episode of this UC Career Portal where we are going to talk about blueprint of your dream clinic, planning for a successful clinic. And over here, we are going to learn all about how to set up an, clinic according to the anterior segment need, how to support a clinic for the posterior segment need, and how to plan your clinic with Medica Bazaar, where, all the consumable equipments and a lot of other things are available in the same website. I welcome our chairperson, Dr. Vinita Ramani ma'am, and she is currently the organizing secretary of GSI Bhopal for 2025. She is Central Zone Executive GSI for 2024 and 26. She is Vice President of MP State Ophthalmic Society, Central Zone Executive Member of GSI, Chairperson Scientific Committee MP SOS 2022-2024. She is a Senior Eye Surgeon at Bansal Eye Hospital, Bhopal, and has also been working at Vision Care and Research Center in Bhopal earlier. She has done a postgraduate from MGM Medical College Indore and subsequently served in well-established eye care institutes such as LVPI and done a fellowship in glaucoma at MGM Medical College, Navi Mumbai. She has done advanced specialization and research work in glaucoma, by virtue of which has some now the best works in her field. Just a minute, just not. And she has received multiple awards in glaucoma and so many best papers in glaucoma. And she has also won video presentation at Indore IDOS for phacotrabeculectomy, awarded Dr. J.K. Raizada Award for Best Paper in Cataract in 43rd MPSOS Conference at Jabalpur. I welcome our panelist, Dr. Nilesh Kumar, who is also our Secretary of UC. He is the Medical Director of Madhvi Netralaya ARA and innovator of DIGS and DIGS Pro, has won many national and state and international awards also, and has 90 plus peer-reviewed published articles, have 100 plus papers and invited lectures in various national and international level. He is also an executive editor for iQuest and also the convener for TSTC for AIC from 2022 till now. I welcome our panelist, Dr. Aditya Sethi, who is our treasurer. He is an alumnus of Shankara Netrala at Chennai. He has been active speaker, panelist, and active member of Pediatric Ophthalmology Society of India (POCN), and a panelist speaker for Pediatric and Strabismus Subspecialty Days at DOSCON and AIC. He has special interest in premium eye and refractive cataract surgery and toric eyes. Has more than 15 publications in peer-reviewed journals, and has been invited into faculty for various international and national meets. Has been awarded honorary diploma for his paper by the S. Fidro Eye Microsurgery Federal State Institute, Russia, has been uh, actively working for YOSI for many years now. He's currently practicing in Aurodia Hazard Eye Hospital at Gurgaon, Haryana, as cataract refractive pediatric ophthalmologist and strabismus surgeon. I welcome our panelist, Dr. Vedanta Vitu, who is a consultant vitreoretina, UV, and cataract surgery at Divyadrishti Eye Hospital, Patna. He is an ex consultant of vitreoretina and uvea from SNC Chitrakoot. He has done MBBS from PMCH Patna, MS Ofthal from Kolkata, has done MRCS from Edinburgh. He has been awarded fellowship by from the SNC Chitrakoot for vitreoretina and uvea and observership from Moorfield Eye Hospital and East Suffolk and Essex Hospital, United Kingdom. He has presented various papers in national and international conferences and special interest in ocular trauma and endophthalmitis. I welcome our panelist, Dr. Ankit Agarwal, who works as a cornea and phaco-refractive surgeon and an eye clinic in Prayagraj. He has experience of more than 10,000 phaco and MICS cataract surgery in private practice, has presented various free papers, posters, and invited talks at various national and international conferences, has been awarded the Atherwell Award winner for Best Paper in Neuro-Ophthalm, has been awarded Best Paper in Session Award winner at UPSOS Conference and DOS International Hybrid Conference, had a special interest in disseminating the tips and tricks of phacoemulsification to young and budding surgeons. I'm Dr. Sunandini. I'm an executive member of YOSI and the team lead for YOSI Career Portal. I'm also the section editor for TGO and Haryana Journal of Ophthalmology and editorial team member of Indian Journal of Clinical and Experimental Ophthalmology. I run my own private practice in New Delhi and also head the Department of Ophthalmology at Bhagat Hospital Private Limited. With me, I have Dr. Gunjan Buddhi Raja as a moderator. She is an executive member of UOC and completed a DO with distinction, seconded DNB from Venue Eye Institute, and completed a long-term fellowship on cornea, refractive, and ocular surface from Shroff Charity Eye Hospital, and has done training from LVBI Hyderabad as well. She is currently working as cornea, cataract, and refractive senior consultant in New Delhi. And we have our speakers, Dr. Ronak Solanki, who is going to speak through the eyes of anterior lens, where he is going to tell us all about how to set up an anterior segment oriented clinic. We have Dr. Madan Gopal, who is going to talk about retina ready smart clinic planning, where he is going to tell us that how we can invest in a VR setup, whether if we are VR or we want to hire a VR person to run the clinic with us. And we have Ms. Dipali Nair, who was going to talk to us about planning your clinic with Medica Bazaar. She is currently the Vice President of Medica Bazaar Opthal Division. So with this, I would like to invite Dr. Nilesh if he wants to speak a few words about the Career Portal app.
Hi, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Sunandini, and hello, everyone. Uh, I am really grateful for this opportunity where to be a panel on this talk. It's really interesting. I think I'm looking forward to this webinar. Regarding the career portal was an idea that we worked upon throughout the last year, and the main aim was to get an automated thing where anybody can post their job and anybody can find their job. And apart from that, later on when we were developing, we also thought that same thing can be extended to short-term and long-term fellowships. So I'll just show you a demo video of how the app works so that you have a brief idea and then you can go and explore that. So, sorry. So currently we have around 300 active users on the app, and there are around 30-35 job postings that are open right now with multiple fellowship posting. I think Dr. Ankit also is here, and he'll tell more about his experience. He was one of the first person to actually get a fellow and a job, a person to work in his clinic through this app. Thank you for that. Ma'am, you are on mute, Sunandi ma'am.
Thank you, Nilesh. I think Dr. Ankit is actually in Almaty, so he's just saying that I'm getting not getting a good signal. In the meantime, I would like to ask Vinita ma'am, what do you think of this initiative?
Yeah, of course, it is such a nice initiative. And as we were discussing just 10 minutes before, that it should be a zone wise and specialty wise distribution so that anybody can use it and filter it. And it is not good only for those persons who are searching their jobs or fellowships. Probably it is good for many of the senior doctors who are looking for the associations with the juniors or the fellows. So I think it's a great idea. We can compile both the generations together, and maybe the best suited person can be a part of it. And because of the filters and use of AI, maybe it is such a helpful task that everything on your fingertip. So otherwise, so many WhatsApp groups are there for the fellowships and for the jobs, but then it becomes really difficult to search, to track them. And maybe a place which is filled or which is being occupied, we can highlight the color, or we can set that it is being already filled. So that way we can just upgrade and go on making it even on the uh, iPhone also, because many users can be on not on Android platform. So it's definitely a great idea. Thank you so much for having such a good initiative. I've been seeing YOSI doing such a wonderful activities, and it's something which is beyond ophthalmology and for the day-to-day practice, which we all face during our days and still facing with many things. So that's great idea.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for this kind words. Dr. Aditya, would you like to add anything? You are our
Yes.
treasurer and
So, just to answer to ma'am, the only reason it's not an iPhone is because we believe people who have an iPhone don't need a job. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So, and secondly, I think it's a testament that it's a great app. It's a great portal. Ankit is in Almaty enjoying while the person he hired is working in his clinic. So that again is a testament. And I think it's a need of the hour, getting everybody at the right place, the job they like, getting them the experience they want. Everything falls into place with the career portal, and it's a great job by everybody behind it. And kudos to Nilesh, to Nandini, everybody, Gunjan, everybody behind the career portal app. I think it's amazing.
thank you. Thank you so much, Aditya. Dr. Vidhata, would you like to add anything now that you're in back in Patna and are handling a lot of, you know, cases in a private hospital? What do you think of this app?
Yeah. I was actually looking for someone who can help me. So thank you so much for this app. I'm going to put all my details tomorrow only. It's a great initiative actually.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vidhata. So I think with this, Dr. Gunjan, let us invite our first speaker, Dr. Ronak Solanki. I'll just quickly share my screen.
Yeah. Can you make it
Yes.
full screen? Yeah. Thank you. So now we start with our talks. So first speaker is Dr. Ronak. Dr. Ronak is working in Mumbai, and he has experience of 11 years in this field, and he practices at New Clarity Eye and Dental Care
क्या तो
in
मेरे को
Mumbai.
क्या
Sorry.
अच्छा नहीं वो कह रहा था शायद मैंने उससे किया था बात पता नहीं
Can you
ट्राई
mute
किया होगा
yourself?
Arnav, can you mute, please?
Yeah, sorry. So Dr. Ronak is a cornea cataract refractive surgeon, and he completed MBBS from Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, Indian, and handed his DNB from Arvind Eye Hospital, Madurai in 2017.
and he has done his DMS from Jagadguru Jaydev Medical College in 2014, and also secondary DNB from Arvind Eye Hospital, Pondicherry. He's been trained at various renowned institutes, including Arvind, Joshi, Sadhguru, SNC, Chitrakoot, LVPI, and ICO also has done in Greece before embarking into the private practice. So over to you, Dr. Ronak, for your talk.
I thank you for the kind invite. I would like to thank the YOSI team, first of all, for having this initiative of this YOSI career portal. Can someone stop sharing their screen so I can
Yeah, I
share?
have stopped sharing.
Okay, fine. Is my voice clear enough?
Yeah, you are absolutely audible. Please go
Okay.
ahead. Please make it full screen.
Yeah, fine. So basically, this was regarding how would you plan your own ophthalmic setup as a beginner, not just for an anterior segment, but for anyone in particular, because anterior segment forms the main basis of the practice. So before you start practice, just a few things to keep in mind. You must finish all your trainings, brush up your skills, fellowship courses, etc. Because later on it becomes really difficult to get time from your busy practice and take time out and just go for a course, even if it's a short-term course. You must know the other aspects of financial knowledge, budgeting, expenses, accounting, along with management and communication skills. So starting an individual practice, as I said, you need to know a lot of other things regarding finances, HR, your legal requirements and licenses for setting up your hospital or a clinic, sterilization protocols, how would you manage with the companies and deal with them regarding equipments and machines, then some sort of marketing and digital presence of your own, because people must know who you are outside in the community and not just on your CV. So just a few options that a person has once he finishes his training. He can join any academic institutions, work as a consultant, and then venture into his private practice a few years later. Join corporate hospitals or establish private practices in the city you wish to start. So I personally did join an established private practice just to know how practices work in the city. Start with your own OPD first, and then you can operate at other places and neutral centers. Then you can have a full-blown OPD and OT setup. Just one second. And you can also have a group practice, but usually group practices are at a later stage instead of a fresher. Most important thing about private practice you will be hearing from a lot of people are the ABC of practice, where you should be available for the patient, the first and the foremost thing. Second is how you behave with the staff, the patients, their relatives, and everyone in and around the hospital. Only after they are satisfied with your A and B, they will, come for a surgery or have trust with you and judge you based on your competence and all. So suppose you have now decided to start your practice. What is the next thing you would do? You want to decide the scale of your startup. One is with the full support of your family, or you have financial support from someone else, or you start small and gradually add services and equipments along the way. Where to start is a very important question, because some people want to go back to their hometowns. Some people want to start in a metro city. Some people want to go to a tier 2, tier 3, where there are chances of growth are more compared to a saturated tier 1 city. Some people want to continue where they have done their academic training from, or go to a village and rural setting. There are a lot of other decisions that help, other factors that help you take this decision, where it's a family decision also, because later on it's difficult to shift and move once you have family and everything. So regarding the look, suppose now you've decided to start your clinic. So where is the location you would want to ideally have? Ideally, choose a residential area where there is, good publicity and reach and convenience for the patients. Like main roads, ground floor, and city centers are always having the advantages for better visibility. Some higher floors in commercial complexes are better because sometimes the deals of buying them are cheaper and the rents are also manageable. Good visibility, easy approach roads, parking if it's available, scope for further expansion in your own clinic is very important, because today you might start a little small, but you will over time, maybe in a year or 2 years or 3 years, just want to expand. You may want to add more equipment, or you may want to add an associate doctor. So everything you can plan beforehand itself. What all space you need. So there are various sections or rooms, if you say in the OPD area, you may need even a reception, waiting area, pre-evaluation for an optometrist workup, consulting room, diagnostics, optical and pharmacy are optional, but it depends on where you're starting, of course. then toilets, pantries. And in addition to the OPD setup, if you're planning an OT, you may need an OT main room, the sterilization area, the scrub areas, changing room, waiting, storage, and restrooms, etc. So it's just a rough, what do you say, a table showing you, a minimum area which is comfortable for having all these various uh, departments or rooms in the OPD and OT. So similarly for the OT, you have different zones and everything which are enough for operating. Another important thing is your recruitment of your staff and HR. You should have good trained staff, reception, OT counseling. They should have good communication skill and command of the local language also. Prefer to have multi-purpose workers and staffs. Like I have dental assistants who now are being trained into OT and counseling them and consents and all those things. So it makes the work easier. Staff training programs are very important to maintain the protocols, flow of work, training of equipment use and handling, uniform dress code, and later on, if you're going for NABH and all those things. So if you have set protocols in the beginning itself, it becomes easier. Training the staff in insurance, paperwork, etc. is very important. Optometrist, it's a personal choice in the beginning. I would like from my personal experience, I would say you can easily manage 20, 30 patients in a day, because initially all you need is that personal touch with the patient so that you are known and they like your services and everything. Another big headache is you're getting your licenses and permissions for the clinic. You have decided to invest money, everything, but without all these things, it's really difficult to control the clinic. You need BMC certificates, health registrations, fire NOCs, biomedical waste, pollution control board, and everything else. Then after you set it up, you will want to do some sort of marketing. Of course, as I said, it's ethical. You can do camps. There are a lot of people who are now doing digital media and advertisements and Instagram where their presence is seen. Sometimes it's a lot more than what you want, but it's okay. Then newspaper ads and pamphlets. You can arrange CMEs and your local IMA meetings. You can go and give talks, discuss about newer technologies, newer services, and something like Contura or Silk or Smile, so that they are also aware and they can refer patients if needed. You can have friends and families, newspaper pamphlets, as I say, avoid a referral practice and focus more on organic growth. Another very important thing for any anterior segment or a posterior segment or any person who wants to run his own clinic in the initial stage, and especially as a solo practice, because it saves time. Having an EMR saves a lot of time. It reduces your errors. It's easy retrieval and documentation. Medical legally also it's helpful. There are multiple options. You can have online cloud based versus offline server based. The costs are not very high. And also a very good part about EMR is now they have all these billing and insurance things, OT, stock, register. So it becomes very easy and fast. As I said, there are a lot of factors you can consider before choosing an EMR. I personally use a software called Note. It's excellent and it can be customized also. No financial interest, but just saying. Coming to the most important thing is purchasing your equipments. In today's time, you cannot practice just with clinical skills and knowledge. One needs to invest in the right equipment from the beginning. The rules of buying are the equipment should be bought at the right time, of the right quality, quantity, and the price should be right. Basically, the equipments are essential equipments, add-on equipments, and other power management and all will be discussed. So what I would have done is I would have made a list of instruments I needed, shortlisted 2 or 3 companies as per their user base, and speaking to seniors and other practitioners, which are the sturdy ones, which are long-lasting ones, and then you can speak to them and negotiate and deal with them. Electrical requirements are to be done initially before you do any other thing, is because you need to do the electrical wiring and all when you set it up. So having online UPS will protect all these expensive equipments. So the essential equipments needed for the OPD as an anterior segment surgeon are your basic slit lamp apparatus, vision charts, trial lens, autoref K and NCT and pachymetry are very important. Lensometer, you can start with an immersion scan, motorized tables, applanation, and all these are basic things which you need. As and when your practice grows, or if you have the finances and budgets which can be managed initially, you can always keep upgrading with newer instruments in the form of optical biometers. I would say the first thing you should invest would be an OCT, which is a revenue generating, as well as a very important clinic tool to have clinical correlation in terms of posterior segment anomalies and diabetic related retinopathies and all. So dry analyzers as an anterior segment surgeon. Sorry. My just screen. Yeah. So the dry analyzers as an anterior segment, suppose you are a cornea refractive surgeon and you want to have a niche practice, you can always have a dry clinic setup with the help of memographers and your dry imaging systems and treatment modalities and topographers. You can keep adding things as and when you feel like. There are some cities now we have instruments that are available. All these add-on equipments are available on rent on a call basis. So the choice is yours. OT equipments are also essential. And the most important are the microscope, phaco machine. Invest in a good recording system initially. It helps you. Initially, you have a lot of time, so you can also analyze and do a surgical audit of your cases. Sterilization equipment you should not compromise on. Class B autoclaves are very important and must nowadays. So the decision making in buying equipments is, suppose you've decided the device. Now you want to buy the best equipment, or you want to buy an entry level, you want to buy an Indian or an imported, you want to buy the equipment, rent it out. There are a lot of factors to consider. So when buying, just consider the initial cost, whether you can break even in some time. What kind of deal are you getting? Previously, all seniors would have told you, or a lot of others have told us that, you should break even in 3 years. But very honestly, in a saturated city or even a tier two nowadays, where the growth is initially slower, don't worry about how many years you're going to get your ROI. Just given an example of how ROI is to be calculated. So not all equipments usually can be bought based on just return of investment. Like for example, a glaucoma surgeon having a perimeter from the day one is a value added service for him. A cornea surgeon having a specular microscope, it may not generate a lot of revenue, but it adds value to your practice and helps in your decision making and informing the patient. When you're doing the deals with the patients, you have a lot of option. You can either pay upfront, which is the best deal actually if you can afford to, because you will get maximum discounts, and you can bargain with the companies regarding AMC and CMC, where you will end up spending a lot more money over years than the actual equipment itself. You have options of deferred payments. You can just pay a down payment and give monthly deferred checks, PDCs. Like for example, a topograph or an OCT, you can pay 10-12 lakhs, and then later on you can get 1-2 lakh rupees every month. And the companies usually agree to this, and they don't even charge an interest on this. You have bundling options with IOLs and consumable, but the problem with bundling option is it's good for established practices and where places have volumes and stuff. Always do bundling which is less than your actual volume, so that the flexibility is there and no burden to be a slave for the company. Group purchases for later on for refractive surgery and everything, you can keep in mind. Make sure your documents and everything you see that it's a fresh unit. There are reports of someone has been sold a demo unit from big companies in spite of being told that it's a fresh unit which is imported. Check for warranties, AMC, CMC, spares and consumables if they are available, services and breakdown. So coming to an OT setup, so this itself is a big thing to consider. It's a talk in itself, but I will just try to sum up some of the things. What are the advantages? There's an advantage of having your own OTT. It's impressive. It's convenient to schedule your cases rather than taking it to a center where you are not in control over the time and dates and everything. It's an all under one roof approach. In control, you are in control of all the protocols right from the beginning. You're familiar in the setting to operate. It becomes cost effective over the time, and it's just initial costs are higher. You have to do a lot of other work regarding sterilization, maintenance, and admin work. Like coming to the space needed, as I say, uh, so basically an ophthal OT with a single bed, 100 to 200 square feet of OT is enough. There are various zones you should maintain in the OT: outer zone, clean zone, aseptic zone, disposal zone. So I've been trained at Arvindai Hospital. So I used to take photographs of how the layouts are and all, and I've eventually designed it myself, keeping in mind how the flow of patient goes from the clean area to an aseptic area and again to a disposal zone. Components of the OT theater, like everything can be discussed at length regarding the materials of the walls, the ceilings, the HVAC system, the scrub box. Most important is you should have, your flow of patients should be great, and your doors your cooling system, the OT table, everything, equipments. You should just basically your staff should be trained, have set protocols and run mock drills before your first sessions, maintain registers and everything, and do the biomedical testing regularly. So some take home points: start as early as you can your practice, because it sometimes takes time. And also you may initially have a lot of, you can even be attached part-time to some places and all. Invest timely and wisely in when you're considering to buying equipments. Think long term, because it will decide a lot of things. Example, location and everywhere where you're choosing, because you cannot keep changing all the time. Keep adding services and upgrading with time. Invite visiting consultants once you know that your retina work is increasing. Invite doctors and ask them to come and visit your place and see. Documentation is very important. EMR systems are a must nowadays. Have patience, build a team, because you cannot eventually do everything, and maintain work life and family balance also. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ronak. That was definitely a very wonderful presentation and a big topic, I would say. And
A big
if
topic
you
to
can
cover.
just, complete it in such a short period of time. Can you stop the screen share
Yeah,
so that we can take the questions?
yeah.
So I'd like to ask Vinita ma'am two questions, ma'am. First is how much do you think like group practice is needed in tier 1 cities or tier 2 cities?
Excellent presentation, Dr. Ronak. See, many of the equipments are common for all the subspecialties, be it cornea, cataract, or refractive, or glaucoma, or retina. So we have a common equipment, and if there's a group, probably you are going to share the responsibility, not only financial, but managing the patients. Because nowadays you don't have only to see patients, but you have to manage as a whole, which starts from the cleanliness of the hospital to maintaining the records, then getting all those formalities for the government, medical legal aspects, the digital marketing, and so many other things. So if you have a group, probably it becomes much easier. And being from the different subspecialties, so there will not be any conflict. So you can be utilizing the equipments which are common to all the subspecialties. You can divide the work and make them owner of their own work. So somebody can be looking for the finances, somebody will be looking for the marketing, somebody will be looking for the licensing. So that way, I think you can divide your responsibilities. And as Dr. Ronak said, it's a work-life balance. So probably when you are in a group practice, you are not behaving like a one-man army. You have so many other soldiers to work in the field when you are not there. So I think that's definitely a great idea. The only concern is that it should be a like-minded people. So in a family also, we have brothers, sisters with a different approach to the life. It's not that somebody is wrong, somebody is right. Basically, it's your perception that how do you want to look into that scenario. So if there are like-minded people, and I think you can share the whole premises, because you don't need such a huge premises for one subspecialty. And ambience is one which is now attracting more and more patients. So you need to invest a lot in ambience. So if you have a group practice, probably you can afford that kind of a luxury. The patient wants a very nice sitting area. They want everything when it comes to the hospital. So hospitals nowadays are becoming more like a hotel. The more you exhibit, probably they are more comfortable. And nowadays the patients are very demanding. They want a fast turnover. So they don't want a long queue, long waiting hours. So everybody's time is so precious. So probably when you have a group, you can like divide the work. So basic workups anybody can do. So only the subspecialty work can go to a one particular subspecialist in a group. So having a group practice is really a good and great idea. It will enhance more and more patients. The only thing is like fine tuning the adjustments with the
Adjustment between
each
each other,
one.
each
So
one.
it's like a husband and wife, like you will not leave, but then you will leave with the differences.
Completely agree, ma'am. Completely agree. Ma'am, now that you are a glaucoma specialist, now we have all this, portable visual field analyzers. If somebody who is not a glaucoma specialist who had a specific glaucoma training, or somebody is in general practice, do you think that this visual field analyzers, this portable visual field analyzers are enough for screening the glaucoma patients and the progression of the glaucoma patients also? Are they enough? Because
See,
they're much more cheaper than the Humphrey, and
yes,
yeah, almost 50% less
not
price, ma'am.
50, even less.
Yes,
So
definitely, ma'am.
I have done a study. I have seen all the type of virtual reality perimeters which are available in India. There are 4, 5, and I called them at my clinic and I put them on a fields which I have already done on a Humphrey. So they are the known glaucoma patients. They have done a Humphrey visual field analyzer. Why I'm telling the Humphrey is that from past so many years, that's the most
That
used
goes
one,
practice.
and I have at my clinic. So when I subjected them to these different kinds of VR perimeter, what I find is differentiation into mild, moderate, and severe glaucoma. It's little bit mixing with VR perimeter. So as per the Humphrey protocols, we say less than -6 MD is a mild, 6 to 12 is a moderate, and above 12 is a severe. So that differentiation was bit confusing and bit difficult. So when you don't categorize as a mild, moderate, severe, it becomes really difficult. And as far as the progression, no, it will not be as accurate to enhance your medications or take a decision for surgery. So, what I found it is a good screening tool. So, not having anything in your practice, you have something. So, it is
Mm.
1/3 the cost of the Humphrey, and it is portable, so probably you can take it to different sub centers, and it is more for the CAMS patients where you see there is a increased pressure, or when you think that there is a suspicious disc, when you are going for some diabetic screening camps, or when you are going for the cataract camps, definitely you are going to see the fundus. And if you see some suspicious disc, you can do an NCT, and then you if have that portable perimeter, probably you will get an idea whether to refer this particular patient or tell this patient that you have a disease which is a blinding disease which requires a lifelong treatment. So just for the sake of not putting a psychological burden to that family or a patient, you have something to do there and there itself, because many of the patients have been to Trust Hospital for 13 years. I myself is putting lot of camps. So many of the patients in camps, they have that tendency of going from one camp to another. So you will be seeing the same patient in different types of the camps in that particular area being put by many of the ophthalmologists. But then they are not taking any treatment because they don't go to the centers where we refer them. But if you give them some idea that you have this much field loss, you have that black area and the gray scale, probably you are more able to convince the patient, and maybe you are not missing the glaucoma. So the whole thing for the VR perimeter is not to miss the glaucoma at periphery, but it is not going to replace the glaucoma practice Humphrey visual fields. So if you are a hardcore glaucoma practitioner, it's no way that you are treating your patients. It is just a screening tool like an NCT. So when you are going out, you can take that virtual reality perimeter along with you because it's such a small and it is pocket friendly, and you can get that ROI that Ronak was saying very fast.
Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your amazing insights about the group practice and the visual field analyzer. I'd like to ask Dr. Aditya my next question, that what as in pediatric ophthalmologist do you think that an anterior segment surgeon must have, or a general practitioner must have in their clinics? Is there something specific that we,
Mm.
as Very general
Yeah.
practitioners are missing, and we are not doing a good refraction maybe for the patients, or we are missing something for the children's.
I think the maximum you can spend on technology is as a pediatric ophthalmologist. You just have to buy some toys. So it's very simple. It's nothing driven with technology there. It's probably got to do with your patients more and your skill more. So I think as a pediatric ophthalmologist, it's very important that you get your human resources right. You get the right optometrist with you who shares that same love for patience with children and tolerance with children, and has an engaging have some sort of engaging activity. If you are looking at a larger space, I think even opening a little play area for children also works, goes takes it leaps and bounds. Apart from that, I don't think technology wise we need so much. But yeah, as an anterior segment surgeon or as an anterior segment ophthalmologist, I feel there are various phases of practice. Initially, when I would say many years back, it was more of a practice of skills of a surgeon. I think then it's transitioned to technology. Suddenly it became which hospital has what technology, let's go there. Today it's a more review driven practice. So it's not necessary that you buy everything the best on the first go. I think you can pace yourself. Every practice has its own age, and I think the first initial stages you can buy more screening tools, more tools which give you an as quoted ROI, which I think is very important to know from your machine. And then you can buy those anterions and other devices that you know are for yourself, more importantly, for getting that from 95 to 99% accuracy.
Okay.
And then thereafter, of course, you're an institute, so it doesn't stop there. So growth is always going to happen. And yeah, I think it's very important to pace yourself, and I think that's why we have this webinar, because a lot of people who uh, think that maybe it's a good idea to go all gung ho as soon as they start practice, which can sometimes backfire, because it can be slightly deflating to realize that you may probably take 7 years or 8 years to break even with, or maybe more, as compared to how Ronak said it should be 3 to 5 years as you would want it. So I think it's not a bad idea to highlight this part of being a ophthalmologist, which we don't learn in medical schools, is about pacing yourself. Ma'am made a very nice comment about how everybody is different. Every family has different sorts of people. Some like to pace it slow. Some like to pace it fast. I think the balance is the key. And I think all of us have gone through different parts of our life where we can say we've gone fast or we've gone slow, and we've found our rhythm there. So I think that's very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aditya, for enlightening us on the pediatric ophthalmology part. And with this, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Madan Gopal. Just a minute, I'll just share my screen once. Okay. So, Dr. Madan Gopal VG is an accomplished retina surgeon who was trained in retina in Shankar Netrala and then worked at Arvind Eye Hospital. He has been visited more than 10 eye hospitals as a retina surgeon before establishing his own private practice at JB Eye Hospital, Salem, Tamil Nadu. He has more than 50 publications in reputed medical journals and is a reviewer of top journals in specialty of eye care. He is a trainer for fellows in the area of retinal surgery. He has introduced new technology in retinal surgery and is a sought after speaker at medical conferences. He is an active member of scientific associations. He is a secretary of Salem Ophthalmological Society, a managing committee member of Tamil Nadu Ophthalmological Society, insurance committee governor of the AISC, and the subcommittee member of Vitreoretina Society of India. So the podium is here, Dr. Madan Gopal. Can we have your slides, please?
Thank you.
Just let me second. Just a minute, I can't. Yes.
Yeah, visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you. Thanks to YOSI, the Career Portal team, for having us here this evening. And it's indeed a wonderful opportunity to be speaking to youngsters about how to start a practice. This is, in fact, one of my favorite topics when it comes to finance and starting practice and all that. So yeah, thanks. I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Basically, I've just modified this golden circle, which is a management principle which speaks about what, how, and why. So I've made what as when because I think that will be more line to our more apt with our line of work. When you're setting out on your own, it's basically an individual choice, as has been discussed. So you can start out on your own, or you can work in an institution. But it's a personal choice that each individual has to take. One second, my slides are moving automatically. I'll just stop share and get back. 1 minute. Pardon me. So, so this presentation is basically aimed at somebody who's clear that they want to start out on their own. And I'm just looking at pointing out some of the finer nuances that they may not actually get to learn in their medical school. The first question is when. A simple single line answer would be whenever you feel ready. But somebody might counter me saying, I really do not know when I'm ready. I'm not sure. So beyond the emotional and the momentary spur to take the plunge, it would be good to have a checklist or certain bullet points and kind of check whether we are ready. So it goes without saying that we need to have a clear idea about our skill sets. We need to know what we can comfortably do, but I'd say we need to know what we should not do. That's also very important when starting out on your own. It's important that our family and personally also we should be in a very comfortable space because starting out is going to demand a lot from your close circle. It's good to have them on the same page. As doctors, we are not formally taught about these aspects, money, cash flow, accounting, and finance in general. But this forms the crux of running a successful business. So the earlier we learn about this, the better it is. Basically, you have to transition from being a pure clinician to an administrator. So you have to also leverage your personal and social networks. It's good to begin tapping into your social networks during your training days itself. We need to make ourselves visible to those around us. We've been speaking about using social media, etc. So there's never a perfect time. Answering the question of when, there's never a perfect time. Not everything will feel absolutely right. Not everything will feel absolutely perfect. But I feel one can and should go with his gut flow as far as timing is concerned. Next, let's move on to how. So when can be a little this way or that way. It's a little more forgiving, I believe. But when you come to how, there are certain things that are best done in a proper way because the leeway or margin of error is significantly lesser if you do something in a wrong way. First and foremost, I would say, is location. If one is at the right place, it's more than half your work completed. Your skill set should match those with the needs of the community or the marketplace that you're going to serve. So, leased or owned premises, this debate will keep on going. But I would shorten it and say if one owns a building at the right marketplace, then yes, go ahead. But the mistake is when one does not own a premises at a proper place, but still opts to start a practice for emotional and financial reasons, saying, no, I have, this is my own place, I can avoid rent and all that. I did that mistake, not once, not twice, I did that thrice. So if you do not have a good location, it's not your own premises, don't worry, go for a lease premises, but do not compromise on the location. Equipment will take a lot out of us, so we need to invest really well. Try various makes, try various brands in your early days when you're in institutions or travel around like I did. I went to 10, 12 places before I started out on my own, so that you know all the options that you have when you have to buy one. Don't work only with the best equipment, saying I'll only be comfortable with the Lumira i700 or the top end paper machines. So have a feel of all the machines and of all the microscopes. When I speak of retina practice, it needs to be mentioned that most of your surgical cases are going to be referred by other ophthalmologists. So what's the key here? Science, of course, yes, but more than 75% will depend on your soft skills, your ability to communicate with the referring ophthalmologist, your ability to speak with the patient at their level, make sure the patient goes back to the referring doctor. These things matter more than we actually give due credit for. Now, retina practice is a unique ballgame. You'll be sitting and operating for 1 hour. You will get probably 30,000, but you would have spent 10 to 15,000 for the process itself. And you would have spent many hours in the OP with this patient. You will spend a lot of chair time again in the post-op period as vision is not going to be great. This patient is not going to go out into the community and send more patients to you saying, wow, this doctor operated on me and my vision is good, etc. So what I'm trying to say is your returns per rupee, per minute spent, per ounce of effort is very less compared to an anterior segment practice. But yes, that's what you trained for as a vitreoretinal guy. So be ready for that. And I like this slide. Ronak was referring to this. When starting a practice, I have many fancy degrees. I speak in conferences, etc. That all patient is least bothered. The ball game is completely different. What I like to believe is accessibility, availability, affordability, and appropriate care in that order are more important for private practice. So accessibility is the key. The patient should be accessible. You should be accessible to the patient. Now let's go and speak about some hard numbers. What is return on investment? It is profit over cost of investment. If you can recover the cost of your equipment in 4 to 5 years, we usually say it's a good investment in business parlance. Right. So what is profit? We think of it as revenue minus expenses. That's right. But we forget the equipment that we've used to generate this particular revenue. Now, this equipment is contributing to revenue, but this equipment will also contribute to your expenses in terms of depreciation and interest. So usually depreciation and interest can be taken at 1% a month. So in 48 months or 4 years, this depreciation and interest is going to make it 100%. So that's why we say the cost of an equipment should be recovered in about 4 to 5 years. So if you're able to do that, then anything over and above that is your own money. So let's say I have a scan machine for 20 lakhs. Going by the above calculation, 40,000 would be the expenses per month. If I charge 1,000 rupees per scan, I need to have about 40 scans per month to break even as far as that equipment is concerned. Anything above, over and above that goes into your pocket. So this is a back of the envelope calculation when it comes to return on investment. A second method to look at this is to assume an average interest of 12 to 14% per year for 5 years. Working up from there, every lakh that we put in should be giving us about 200 rupees a day to break even. Again, over and above that would be your net profit. So every lakh that you have sunk in should be giving you 200 rupees at least. Only then you're breaking even. Over and above that should be your net profit. Now, this is a basic ophthalmology setup. This would require some 50 lakhs. If you have an optical outlet, you can put in another 5 lakh. So going by the previous slide, 1 lakh needs to make 200 rupees. 55 lakh, you would need to make about 11,000 a day. I would say that's not a bad bargain. But it's essential to have a very clear line between must-haves in your practice and good-to-haves. Unless you have a really rich godfather who's providing you with interest-free capital, every penny matters. So please do consider Indian-made equipment and pre-owned equipment as well. I have quite a few of them. They're doing a good job. But of course, they can be value for buck provided you go through the right channels and go through the right contacts. That's very, very important. So moving on to VR, you would need these basic equipment. Now it's going to set you back by another 90 lakhs or so. And going by our previous calculation, it would be about 18,000 rupees per day you'll have to make to break even. So it's prudent to note that the number of patients needing VR surgery would more or less follow this particular rule that I've written here. 100 general OP would probably translate into 10 cataract, and that may translate into probably one VR surgery. Can I, as an individual starting out, generate 100 OP in a day? I mean, though I'd like to be optimistic, that's highly unlikely. So I would rather like to be the referral retina surgeon for 3 to 4 general ophthalmologists who see 25 to 30 OP individually. So that makes the numbers even. In doing this, I would prefer to meet and connect with senior ophthalmologists in my catchment area. I find that usually they have no problems in referring their cases to a retina surgeon, provided we take care of their patients well. Finally, this is another important question. Why, with so many people and hospitals around, why another one? What can you offer that the market does not have? What is your USP? This is more important than the when and how. So if your why can align with the needs of the market or the community you wish to serve, then you're going to make it big. This is why I have defined this why that I have defined for myself is what is going to keep me going when the going gets tough. That's very important. So there are multitude of reasons to start out. People say you can be your boss, you can make a difference, you can do what you love, you can set your own hours. All this is there, but I'd like to share this quote from Masko Ilayaraja in Tamil. It says, "Pudu ragam padaippadale nanum irevane." A rough English translation would be, if someone who creates is God, then I am God. So creating something gives you the ultimate satisfaction. I feel every founder is driven by some sort of push from within, a strong desire, and I'm capable that I can create. So the most reliable way to predict the future is to create it. And I welcome every youngster, everyone in YOSI to the world of entrepreneurship. Thank you all for the opportunity and for patient audience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madan. I would request Dr. Gunjan to please take the panelist questions and ideas.
Yeah. So Dr. Madan very nicely put, because VR practice is something which everybody needs to understand. It's a referral based practice. With that, I would like to ask Dr. Nilesh and Dr. Vidhata about how they started their career with their clinics in VR surgeries and referrals as well. Dr. Vidhata?
Yeah, yeah. Excellent talk actually. So when I shifted, actually, I was starting my private practice just few months back. It's actually 10 months back. So initially, I had zero patients for a few days. I mean, I will be very honest. But I was lucky enough to work with someone who is renowned surgeon of PR. So slowly, I started it actually started building up. So I didn't have much issue with the referrals and all. But yes, it's difficult for a beginner to start his own private practice. And initially, if one would like to start a private practice, I would recommend not to go for a very high-end machines. Retina doesn't require that much of high-end machine in the very beginning. Just like one can start with just an OCT, indirect ophthalmoscope, and a chair unit, and that's enough. With time, you can add a laser. For FFA, one can send outside. For retina cases that requires a 2 hour long surgery, I agree with Dr. Madan Gopal that it's a very long time and patients are never happy. So why not operate in others OT? Just book the OT, go for operate 2 hour and come back. That's it. So, and the referral is always challenging for a person who is sitting in a saturated places like the capitals of the state, where all around in Patna is actually around 25-30 BR surgeons. So everyone is running to the rushing to the small town practitioner. Sir, please send one. Please send one. So it's difficult to get initially, but with time, the as the trust builds up, you start getting cases, and it's definitely a time taking thing. Nilesh would like to add something.
I think Nilesh is, he will be just back very soon. In the meantime, we can take one more question from Vinita ma'am. Ma'am, do you think that as an anterior segment surgeon, you should have a VR setup also if your practice is going very good? Like, what exactly is your take? Because it does need some, investment, heavy thing, well, setting up a VR OT, I think. Dr. Madan and Dr. Vedanta can tell us better if, it's a very investment heavy. That's what I know. I don't have a VR setup or something like that. What is your take on this, ma'am?
See, I am working now with multi-speciality where I have put the medical retina unit also. So you can manage medical retina because anyway you are going to have an OCT in your setup. So when you have an OCT in your setup, you probably, if you learn better, you attend webinars, or if you go for some short courses, you can very well do the good medical retina. So many of your diabetic patients who have done a cataract surgery, now they come with the diabetic retinopathy, macular edema, you should be able to manage. So I am doing in a way that my practice for the medical retina has grown up. So nowadays, very sorry to say to the retina friends, but then definitely the medical retina part is being taken care by most of the anterior segment surgeons. So the hardcore retinal surgeries are very less with the advent of more and more anti-VEGF injections, probably, and the awareness which is being created, probably the amount of the VR surgery numbers has gone down. So it is a good thing that you can have a good retinal friend with you and you can refer the cases which you are not able to manage. So I think an anterior segment surgeon, if does some medical retina work, which is logical and ethical, not only earn better, but also save the patient's vision, just because you have a knowledge of the vitreoretinal pathologies, you are able to manage comprehensively the patient as a whole. Especially with the increasing number of diabetics, probably one should know the whole lot of diabetic pathologies, which is not being governed that you are a VR surgeon or you are an anterior segment surgeon. And especially in a cities like a place where I am at Bhopal, we don't have that demarcation. It's mostly patient has some diminution of vision and they don't know whether that diminution of vision is because of the vitreous hemorrhage or because of the diabetic macular edema or because of the cataract. So anyway, you have to see the patient and manage the patient. And if the patient requires the surgery, definitely send it to a vitreoretinal surgeon. In a way, it will help vitreoretinal surgeon also will be giving more time to the surgical patients. So because these are very lengthy surgeries, sometimes they have to do redo, they sometimes do an oil injection, sometimes they go for an oil removal, so it's a consequent surgeries with the patient. So it's a good win-win situation, like if you have a anterior segment setup with a medical retina setup.
Thank you, ma'am, for this lovely answer.
Just
Dr.
to add, Sunandi ma'am, if you have a OT, you don't need much to add a vitreoretina unit. You just need a vitrector. And you don't need a biome also. The vitreoretina colleague can just use the contact lens, which comes around 5,000 rupees, and that's it. And you have a vitreoretina setup with you. All you need is a OT and a good microscope, and nothing much more than that.
Then I think I have to call you from Patna
I
to
have
Delhi,
reached
because
it.
every VR surgeon I know, they were like, you would need this or this particular cylinder, or we would need a biome, we would need an XY or something. I'm
Biome
like,
is just 5,000 rupees contact lens you can use, but a vitrectomy around Indian vitrectomes are like 25 lakhs around. That's all you need.
No, but Nandini, it is right that VR surgeons are more comfortable at their own setup. I
That
have
is true.
started doing this at my own setup, but then it becomes really difficult to keep that silicone oil, then keep that C3F8 injection, and keep that cryo, laser, and so many things which is very easily available in their VR OT. So probably it's a good idea to send to the VR person where, because sometime in vitreoretinal surgeries, they even don't know what is required on table. So probably the result may not be that great if they do at their own setup. So recently I had one patient with injury. There was one foreign body lying in the anterior segment with the traumatic cataract, and there is one foreign body lying in the posterior segment. So that way it was really difficult. So I thought of doing it at my own setup, but then rather than doing this, I went to a VR setup and removed both the foreign bodies and did a cataract surgery there. I think that's a great idea if we go to their setup.
Thank you, ma'am, for your lovely, discussion. Dr. Madan, I would like, are you there? Dr. Madan is there. I think his camera is. Dr. Madan, are you here?
I was operating in 10 to.
Dr. Madan, your network seems to be a little unstable.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now you are, I think. I think your network is there's some
Yeah,
error.
yeah, I just checked that. Looks better now.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if I can add to that previous discussion,
Yes.
uh, I was actually operating in 10 to 12 places, but I stopped operating simply because of the reason that ma'am was mentioning. See, there are a lot of variables that are not under your control, especially a trained assistant. Because when I operated in an anterior segment place, they have only very few instruments that their assistants are familiar with. And training them for an SFIO, for an RD, or for the macro hole surgery, it requires a lot of different instruments. And when I visit once in a month or something, I realized it's nearly impossible to train an assistant, and you are virtually doing everything to having the inventory, getting the machines auto-cleared, etc. So it's going to be very, very difficult, and that's exactly why I stopped operating in other places. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing your insight. Dr. Vidhata, one question I would like to like you to answer is, in as ma'am was mentioning that VR surgeons sometimes require a lot of complex OT instruments and everything. Do you have any tips for any VR surgeon who's just starting from scratch in the beginning, and how should he or she invest in getting a good VR setup just for referral sometimes? Because some of the VR surgeons are not trained in anterior segment.
So initially, one has to be very specific with the cases. It's not the training is not only about how you do the cases, but how you choose the cases also. So you should be very specific which case you are going to operate and which you are going to refer to someone else. Like you cannot take a very tough case initially. Like the staffs are untrained. You have a new instrument. You have the new setup. The machines are new. So you have to be specific. Like in the starting, you can take the drop cases or the IOL explants, the easier ones. I'm saying, and the setup, those cases don't require much big, sophisticated instruments like the thin forceps and all. So that's how you can start with, and slowly and gradually you can start building up, taking the more complex cases. Your staff also starts getting trained, and then things become easier. I also had a tough time here initially, but now the staffs are trained enough. The first buckle I did here was around 3.5 hours, which in Chitrakoot I used to do in 1 hour only. So it takes time, then slowly everything goes easy.
Yeah, you are right. Initially, whenever school starts, it's a long duration, and when
Mm.
once your staff starts getting accustomed to everything what you are doing, then your training keeps on happening. Thank you all of you for your insights. Now we move on to the third speaker, who's been patiently waiting for all of us to, start her talk. So I invite Ms. Dipali Nair, are you there, Ms. Dipali?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there. Thank you,
So
Dr. Gunjan.
So to introduce Ms. Dipali, she's a postgraduate in biochemistry from DAV Indore. She's worked in various pharma companies, including Cipla and Ranbaxy, and also device companies like Baxter, Life Sciences, Aventor, many, many more. So she has been largely in roles of regional and national sales, corporate sales, business head, and now she's working in Medica Bazaar for last 5 years, and also has launched the Opthal division in Medica Bazaar. So, Ms. Dipali, we would like to, hear your insights about how somebody should start their setups and what finances should be there for their help. You can.
Good evening, Dr. Vinita Ramnani, Dr. Ronak Solanki, Dr. Madan Gopalan, the YOSI committee members, YOSI members. Wishing all of you a very good evening. And today I'm here to talk about planning a clinic with Medica Bazaar. And the financing part would be a sequel to this actually. So we will be doing another webinar where we will be focusing more on the financing part. But I'm here to tell you about planning a clinic with Medica Bazaar and give you a glimpse into Medica Bazaar. I've heard this from many doctors that they don't understand what Medica Bazaar is all about. And today, hopefully after this presentation, you will be able to know that what Medica Bazaar is all about. I definitely feel that YOSI and Medica Bazaar is going to be a promising relationship. It's in a partnership in an offing because YOSI comprises of young and bright ophthalmologists, and they're looking for innovative methods, for healthcare procurement. And Medica Bazaar is ahead of its curve. Actually, we are in the online portal for many years in healthcare procurement, and we are one of the pioneers when it comes to healthcare supplies and making it available online. So we look at this partnership with a lot of optimism, because we see that the young doctors will be ordering a lot of the medical supplies online. Traditionally, we know that medical supplies or healthcare equipment largely is through offline sales, and there are various reasons why this has been so. Because when there is a person behind a product, a doctor feels much more comfortable. There is a person whom they can go to, and there are reasons that they would like to go through an offline sales, because there are credit terms. Then also issues around service. But what if I were to tell you that, with Medica Bazaar, we'll be able to handle all these issues, even through an online sale. And I'm sure YOSI will endorse us as we go along in this journey, of the online healthcare procurement. We can go on to this next slide. Okay, so Medica Bazaar is basically an online, portal, and at the forefront is our website, the medicabazaar.com, where through the marketplace you can order anything from equipment to consumables to disposables. Everything from all fields are available. But it's not that we are only online. We also have a field connect. We have around over 350 people who are on the ground, and they are in various fields. And these people are in various businesses. Then if you are a hospital which is procuring large equipment, then we also have the Medica business solution, where you can, from a single window, procure all that is required for an hospital. And all this is powered through financing solution. We are one of the largest B2B healthcare supplies platform with over 2 lakh SKUs. We are, also powered through 15,000 suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and importers. We're supplying in 700 districts across India, and we have 6 large fulfillment centers. These are large hubs where we are, keeping inventory. We are actually doing business with 20,000 plus medical establishments and over 150K medical practitioners as well. And till date, we've done about 500 million shipments. We are not only present in India, but we also have a footprint in China, UAE, and Africa as well. So while, of course, we are talking about ophthalmology here, I'd like to, tell our esteemed audience that we are not only in ophthalmology. One of our major businesses is radiology. And in fact, we have a partner, United Imaging, which is a Chinese company, but with very high-end imaging products. CT scans, MRIs, PET CTs, etc. This is one of our largest businesses, where United Imaging and Medica Bazaar, we are the exclusive partners for United Imaging. We bring in the product from China, we promote it, we install it, we service it. So everything in the life cycle of an equipment is handled through Medica Bazaar. We have cardiology, oncology, gynecology, nephrology, and of course, obviously, ophthalmology as well. Now, ophthalmology at Medica Bazaar, I'm going to deep dive as to what all products, and as we are talking about setting up a clinic with the Medica Bazaar, I would like to tell you that in OPD equipments, we have everything from refraction units to autorefs, slit lamps, ophthalmoscopes, retinoscopes, Vogue lenses. We have BIO, slit lamp lenses, gonio lenses, everything, even something small as a trial lens kit as well. We have diagnostic equipments like OCTs, biometers, lensometers, fundus cameras, keratometers, tonometer, all available on our website. We have the high-end surgical equipments. We are tied up with phaco machines, which I also like to say that we are bringing in importing one phaco machine from US, which will be launched very shortly. But even now we have some tie-ups in phaco machines. We are tied up in operating microscopes with Zeiss and Takagi. We have autoclaves, patient monitors. On our website, you can see everything that a hospital or a clinic would require. Not only just these products that we've advertised, highlighted here, but you could get anesthesia machines, you could get ECG machines, defibrillators, OT beds, everything that is required to set up a hospital or a clinic. Not only do we have equipments, we also have consumables in ophthalmology. Not only ophthalmology, general consumables are also available. Things like eye drapes, mask gloves, you can have disinfectants, hemosealants, syringes, cannulas, sutures, everything is available, which you can order from our website. So, and here I would like to highlight that two of the large ophthalmology chains, Dr. Agarwal Eye Hospitals as well as Center for Sight, are already buying consumables across India from us and for many years. In fact, Center for Sight has been one of our first few customers buying from us for last 3 to 4 years. They've been buying from us. We have IOLs as well, and in IOLs we also have tied up with an Indian manufacturer, Divine Meditech. We have our own brand called MB Plus, where we have the hydrophobic clear as well as the preloaded hydrophobic IOLs and the EDOF lenses. We also have authorizations from Zeiss in many geographies. I wouldn't highlight about the Zeiss lenses. I'm sure all of you are aware of these lenses. We are trusted partners in ophthalmology for many of the centers many of the chains like Center for Sight, Dr. Agarwal's IQ, Shroff, Sharpsight. Here we are largely doing consumables, and in some of the places we are also doing lenses. But of course, not only these large ophthalmology setups, we are also doing for the individual hospitals, and not naming these, but they are well visible on your screen. A lot of all these centers we are actually doing business with, and many more. These are some of the top brands like Zeiss, Sapasamy, Hewitt's, Welch Allen, and many more partnerships are still coming up as we speak. These are some of the other brands also that we have, which are not necessarily related to ophthalmology, where we have, partnerships. Some of the key customers, which range from hospitals like Manipal, which range from hospitals like Artemis or, Motherhood, Cloud9. These are all some of the general hospitals where we have tie-ups. In the leadership team, we have Dinesh Lodha, who's our CEO from healthcare, and he's worked with GE as well as Samsung. Our CEO is also from the healthcare background, having worked in GE. The Chief Revenue Officer, Jitesh Mathur, is also from Philips, having spent 15 to 20 years. So the point here that I'm trying to make through the leadership team, that we understand how, Medica Bazaar will be, taking procurement in healthcare to a different level altogether through our online portal. Here I'm going to pause, and we would like to play a video as well after this, on Medica Bazaar quickly. Play the video. Thank you. Any questions?
I only could see the no cost EMI and the buy now, pay later option. That's really a very nice initiative by Medica Bazaar that you have introduced also of Thal products, I would say. And to this, I would like to ask Dr. Aditya, who has introduced us to Medica Bazaar through you, that what do you think that YOSI has for, Medica Bazaar and the collaboration with Medica Bazaar? What was your take when you decided this?
Uh, I think being a young ophthalmologist, that like that video showed, holding your head when you're planning your first clinic. I think that needs to go because as young ophthalmologists, we have a lot on our plate to prove our metal from day one. And something like Medica Bazaar collaborating with UOC makes so much sense because automatically, like you said, that no cost EMI burden or pay later, that those sort of concepts often make our decision making skills much easier. Because when you have options available which enhance your financial ability without cutting down on quality. I think that's what advancement is. Not everybody, and also I think something that in our next webinar will show is that I may be wrong about this, but that's what I've understood over conversations when in my practice when we started picking up things. And there are a lot of other ways that you can like group practice is something you spoke about. So it's always been my conviction that if like in a city like Delhi, instead of everybody buying machines, if we can come up for group practices where we have common centers. Uh, Now something that requires a third party, maybe something like a Medica Bazaar right there. So you never know what happens in future, and conversation starts with a simple hello. So yes, I think this is a good start to YOSI and Medica Bazaar coming together.
It is definitely true, Dr. Aditya. I also agree to the same thing that having everything together really solves a lot of problem because you can definitely, see what options are there. And I definitely think that financing is a very big issue for young ophthalmologists who does not have a very good financial background for starting. Even to buy a normal, for a postgraduate to buy a normal 90D or the basic, IDEO is a very big thing. And if you have some, EMI options, and we are going to talk about it, I think in the next webinar, as Mr. Pali has clearly mentioned that we are going to have everything about the financial options for Medica Bazaar. But that really helps, I think. Dr.
And
Nilesh,
even
would you like?
even knowing where to buy it from. I think
Yes,
when you're
yes,
buying your
definitely.
first 90D, first 20D, or anything else that you're buying, you often are confused. Who do we ask? You end up asking the senior who would have bought it from his senior or something or the other. Here it becomes so easy. Just log on to an app and get it. And of course, Dipali's promised us a good discount for being OC member. So you use that.
Definitely.
I'd also like to make a point here that, when it comes to CapEx aggregation, suppose you're buying 4, 5 equipments at one go. And if you're dealing with one company, like suppose if you were dealing with the top end brand like Zeiss and all, everything will work out very expensive. But when you can mix and match, something which is not as, maybe you might go for an operating microscope as a Zeiss, but you might want to go for something maybe slightly less, and some of the other products like a slit lamp might not be a Zeiss slit lamp. So with working within a budget, with Medica Bazaar will give you the other options of brands which are available. And with the one single financing lease or loan, you can aggregate all the equipments together. So that's the ease. And not only just equipments, as I mentioned, that even consumables is something that you can buy from Medica Bazaar. And in
I
fact,
think
Aditya has been buying. I mean, he even bought, my monitors last month, I
yeah,
know, which he saw
yes,
on our website.
yeah.
And so, there are a lot of general products also which you might require in a hospital.
And you do
Definitely.
require them
Definitely.
sometime or the other. And I think that's why Dipali and Medica Bazaar are coming to YosiCon, which is 5th, 6th, 7th of September. And they've very proudly, they're sponsoring the Yo Lounge. So it'll be called the Medica Bazaar Yo Lounge. And the idea behind that was that a lot of us who are thinking of getting into our own practices or want to expand our practices, we'll get some chair time with them and they'll get some chair time with us. And my suggestion to Dipali and the team is that if they can come up with a scheme where, like she said, if you want to buy 4 5 equipments to start a center, we can mix and match them like she suggested, and come up with some, like a bronze scheme and a silver scheme and a platinum scheme, which sort of is light on the pocket for the young ophthalmologist as well, and also gives Medica Bazaar a free advantage of how to tailor it.
Definitely. Dr. Nilesh, would you like to enlighten
Yeah.
us how you see Medica Bazaar with YOSI and YOSI Con, as Dr. Aditya rightly mentioned right now, being the
So,
secretary of YOSI?
yeah, congratulations, Dipali ma'am. It was actually very good presentation. I think there was a lot to cover because Medica Bazaar has so many things that is there on offer. And I have been also browsing because I just want to start. Like my hospital doesn't have an anesthesia setup right now. We are not doing GA cases. So I was looking actually through Medica Bazaar and seeing what all to buy because I think that is an easy way. Otherwise, me going to a store and then taking everything out, it becomes very easy. I just had two things. One which Dr. Sethi briefly touched upon. Right now, they see everybody has this setup. What Dr. Madan Gopal sir also had enlisted, like you have to have a slit lamp in your hospital, you have to have a microscope in your hospital, like that. But there are certain diagnostic equipments that are like that can be shared because they won't generate as much revenue as say OCT, perimeter, and all those things. So probably even Medica Bazaar can come up with some centers because you have all the equipments. You can come up with a central center and say start with a tier two city. I don't think it will work in tier one city, but in tier two, tier three city where there is not so much of investment being done on the hospital, you can come up and then as a subscription model, you can give it out to the local practicing ophthalmologist. That way, you will also have optimal utilization, and also it will be very like light on the pocket for young ophthalmologists because it will be like pay on the go service. So that is one thing. And another thing I just wanted to bring out, like me and Dr. Sundari and ITSAT, we all three were working with trying to get this done with Policy Bazaar to get a group CMC or AMC policies. So there are like 10 or 12 instruments from different companies, and you keep negotiating with all of these separately to have AMC and CMC. So probably Medica Bazaar can be a common aggregator where you can have a comprehensive policy for your hospital. You pay it once to Medica Bazaar, and then Medica Bazaar deals with uh, the other. So there can be like a tiered option. If you have only like Zeiss equipment, maybe you need to have a say gold package. But if you are having top one, then you can have a bronze package to go with. So something like that. These are the two suggestions that we have from UOC side. If you can think on it and implement something.
I think wonderful. I mean, this the one, of course, is a different business model only where you're talking about, Medica Bazaar having a center where, doctors can come and subscribe to instruments and all. But I think on the service part, we already have an in-house service team, and that is something that we are working towards. Of course, as an aggregator, we need the support of some of the other companies to, give us that authorization and train our engineers, etc. on that. So that's something, these are, I think, work in progress, at least the second option and second question that you mentioned. So that's, but I think wonderful idea. We can definitely think about all this. Yeah.
So we have got a few questions from the audience. So the first question is for Team Medica Bazaar, that if somebody buys equipment or any product from you, how do you how do they claim the AMC and CMC of the product? Is it through the company or is it through Medica Bazaar?
Through the parent company, through the
The
principal.
parent company.
Yes.
Through the parent company. And ideally, generally, you give through Medica Bazaar when we buy, you give a AMC and CMC for how many years?
Ma'am, that will depend on whether, it's a standard warranty or they want, fully
Extended.
extended this thing. It could be when we do a lease or loan model, then what we do is that we work up a 4 5 year plan. In that case, if it's a lease and loan model, then we inbuild the warranty for another 4 years, and we give a
Okay.
5 year warranty package.
Okay. Okay. And we have one more question for Dr. Aditya. And that what amblyopia software or treating devices would you suggest for a general ophthalmologist?
Yeah, so amblyopia softwares, I think they're fairly all the reps come to you. I've tried three of them now, and all three of them work very well. My first go-to is now currently CureC, just because it's very easy for the patient to buy it. It's priced more very economically, and at the same time, all the everything comes to your app. Binox is another one, which is great. You need to have a better setup for that and availability in your clinic as well. So I think everything is available. You can go ahead with most of them. Try and phase them out as time goes. These are the two ones I would suggest.
Okay, and we have the last question from an viewer for Dr. Ronak Solanki that doing a business in their own center as a refractive surgeon, where we are investing in a refractive setup suite, or going to different centers as a refractive surgeon and doing the cases in their center in their machines. Uh, what should be the decision making point in this?
It really depends on the stage of practice you are. As I said, the timing of equipment purchase and setting up services should be right. You may have all the money in the world, but if you just started your practice and you don't have footfalls in your general OPD of say 20, 30, 40 like that, there's no point investing in a refractive suit. You might as well invest into a cataract and other additional services, which is going to feed your refractive surgery unit later on. So initially at the start of a practice, it's difficult. I know recently a couple of doctors in some so in some demographics also matters. Like I know a few doctors in Punjab who have recently invested in a very heavily invested in a refractive setup initially from day one of their practice, but it also comes with its pros and cons. I would not suggest anyone to invest in a refractive setup. So as a anterior segment surgeon, you may invest in a topographer to begin with and go to a center and get that operated. So it's absolutely fine to build your volume, because to break even, it's not just about buying the machine. The CMCs, the gas, laser maintenance charges, they are humongous. So you need
Definitely.
minimum volume to maintain those things. You may need 100, 200 cases to at least break even and recover the costs.
Thank you so much to all our speakers and our panelists for such enlightening session. As we come to the end of this session now, I'd like to take the closing remarks from our chairperson, Dr. Vinita Ramani ma'am.
Thank you, Yosi, and it's a very great initiative that you are taking into the aspect of not only the career, but also the general practice, how to establish, how to go ahead, how to buy the equipments, and so many other things. What I suggest that there is a probably we have lot many refractive surgery centers, so many good centers for everything, but then low vision, amblyopia therapy, or the artificial, or the prosthetic eyes. There are some untouched areas which I think the YOSI should take care and do the good job into it, because there are so many patients waiting for these good low vision aids, because it requires a lot of chair time, it requires the expertise, and it requires the different low vision ads which are not available probably in India. So there could be something which we should do, the untouched areas which are not being developed efficiently. But yes, we have a lot of patients roaming about where to go, what to do. Otherwise, it's a wonderful CME, and tying up with Medica Bazaar is really a good eye opener for me. Thanks to thanks to Dipali, she has opened up that area. So maybe with the advent of more and more tie-ups, she will also understand the part from our side, that what exactly we are looking. So just not for any sake, just for the example, I'm saying they are closing the Laureate machine as an Alcon. So once they came to my setup, they said this machine looks like a brand new machine. Everything is so well maintained, good. but unfortunately we have to discard this machine and you have to buy a newer machine. So a machine which is very well functioning at one setup, it's best, maybe because the parts are not available. So you can collect some good parts so that at least out of, say, if they close one particular brand or one particular machine, you have that parts available, because otherwise that parts goes to the condom. Like we have five laureate machine at Bhopal. One may be having some good part, another may be having a very good part. It is deficient at another place. So we can replace those parts, not to make pocket heavy just by just upgrading the machines, because everybody will agree with me that we don't earn from that machine, and sometimes it becomes so difficult that we have not taken out that amount which we have invested for that machine, and that machine goes to condemn. Then it becomes really difficult to upgrade and do the ethical practice. So maybe Medica Bazaar can have more and more meetings with the ophthalmologist and try to understand and analyze the practical problems. Otherwise, the YOSI team is really doing so well that they will also come out with the better options and better models of functioning with the industry, because industry and the doctors, they go hand in hand, then only we can benefit our patients.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Dr. Madan, would you like to add anything to our session today? Any closing remarks? Dr. Madan, are you there?
I think he's not.
Thank you so much.
Your voice is not audible, Dr. Madan.
Audible now?
Yeah, audible now. Yes, definitely audible. Yes.
No, thank you so much. I mean, it was a great learning experience last 1.5 hours. Uh, so hope more youngsters take up the entrepreneurial journey. That's the only thing that I wish to convey through this platform. And looking forward to working with YOSI soon. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Dr. Vedanta, would you like to add any closing remarks?
It was nice to know about Medica Bazaar actually. Even I was not aware of that. There is something like that. I would like to explore more about the Medica Bazaar in future also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vedanta. Dr. Ronak, would you like to add anything for today's session?
Yeah, thank you. And everyone had, it was a great discussion, interactive session, and good ideas to take forward along with Medica Bazaar and YOSI and help all the young ophthalmologists. And thanks to Vinita ma'am for her inputs and insights. Wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Ronak. Dr. Aditya?
Thank you, ma'am, for being here. Thank you, Medica Bazaar, for taking up this project with YOSI. And we are looking forward to the discount coupon and your presence in YOSICon. And we're also looking forward to building a more fruitful collaboration for all young ophthalmologists in all their practices. And like Madan said, get more people into entrepreneurship very fast.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aditya. Dr. Nilesh, your closing remarks for us.
I think everything has been said off. I think Dr. Sethi is never off duty. He's always pitching things for YOSI, getting all the discounts and everything for YOSI members. So thank you, Medica Bazaar, actually for supporting this initiative. We really wanted somebody who can actually make a difference while supporting, and should not be some pharma company just for namesake sponsorship. So I would like to thank on behalf of YOSI for that, and thank you, Vinita ma'am, for enlightening us with your real experience while we were in our own theoretical world. You also gave some practical tips during this webinar. So thank you everyone for that, and thank you for having me, Aswandri ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Nilesh. And last but not least, our sponsor from Medica Bazaar, Ms. Dipali, would you like to add anything for YOSI people?
I think a very big thank you to YOSI team for giving us this opportunity today for this session. And a big thank you to you, Dr. Sunandani. You've been so helpful, supportive of, this webinar, and also to Dr. Aditya Sethi, who's actually introduced us to YOSI. And really thankful to you, and very kind words by Dr. Vinita Ramnani and, all the other panelists like Dr. Vidhu and Dr. Ronak, Dr. Nilesh, everybody's been so kind to us, and we really look forward to working together with YOSI on the webinars, with the YOSICon, and going forward as we make our journey into this online field of healthcare procurement. And we really look forward to this association. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dipali, for your kind words. And last but not least, our co-moderator, Dr. Gunjan, would you like to add anything for today's session? You have been a very important part of YOSI Career Portal team from the very start.
Thank you so much, everyone. Especially Medica Bazaar is, I think, a very nice introduction to YOSI, and Dr. Vinita ma'am has actually helped all of us to understand everything from her experience, and all the VR surgeons and the refractive surgeon. And Dr. Sunandi always has been a very, potential leader for everybody. And YOSI Career Portal is one thing that we should all look forward to. So thank you so much for introducing this to YOSI, Dr. Aditya, and Dr. Nilesh, and Dr. Devakant sir for this YOSI portal app. So thank you so much, everyone, and it was a nice, insightful journey today. I think for everybody who has attended this webinar, thank you so much from everybody.
Thank you so much, Gunjan. So with this, we come to the end of our webinar. And at the start, I would just like to invite everybody for YOSICon, as Dr. Aditya said, from 5th, 6th, and 7th of September in New Delhi, in the Habitat Center. And we have a lot of trade and a lot of good speakers from international and Indian bio communities also, societies also. And I would like to thank my team, Dr. Gunjan Vujraja, Dr. Asmita, Dr. Arnav, for being there and handling me in my worst parts also, where I'm over their head for doing things for YOSI Career Portal. I thank the governing council of YOSI for helping us with YOSI Career Portal. I thank Vinita Ramnani ma'am today to chair the session and being there with us from the start to the end. Whether she told me that she had to go somewhere for AIC meet, but she, I think, did not go, and she was there with YOSI for the whole time. Thank you so much, ma'am. I thank our speaker, Dr. Ronak Solanki, Dr. Madan Gopal, for agreeing to, speak about this topic in less than a week's time when I've given them this talk, and Dipali for helping us for this with this webinar and coming up with such a nice, ophthal, equipment purchasing and consumables purchasing portal, and Dr. Aditya Sethi, Dr. Nilesh, Dr. Vedanta Vidhu, who are there for us in the panelist session today. And we are very enlightened with everybody's, help, and like to how, we can set up a private practice and how we can earn more, how we can, increase more patient, and how to also manage the staff and finances also. We are going to have one more webinar from Team Medica Bazaar on financing in the consecutive month of July or starting of August. So we will be inviting you again for the same webinar. And so we can just all have the closing bio photograph. Manjula can take it for us.
Sure, doctor.
If you notice, the retina guys came late.
Is it
It is
done?
done.
I have
It is
taken.
done.
Yes.
I think
Thank you so much, everybody, for today. It was really a very enlightening session. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Sunandini, you, because you being an instrumental for having that such a wonderful webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Sanandini. Thank you, Gunjan.
Okay,
You guys
bye-bye.
did a great job.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. Bye bye. Bye.
Good
Good night.
night. Thank you so much.